DC, where you at? DC, make some noise!
How many people gonna die in the district today? Oh yeah, yeah. Girl in the bed, uninspired on the bed, counting bullets in the head. When the shots ring out, everybody down. Ain't no stopping what's going on. Ain't no stopping, no, no. Ain't no stopping till we all gone, gone. Huh. It's gonna take a marathon man to fly high. Local boy don't lie. Go get your info. How many people gonna lie in the district today? Oh yeah. It's a hustle on the hill, chasing down that dollar bill, taking prisoners at will. But when it all comes down, who's representing me? Who's representing you too? Ain't no stopping what's going on. Ain't no stopping, no, no. Ain't no stopping till the money's all gone. It's gonna take a marathon man to put the fire. Local boy don't lie. Go easy, go.
Fiasco!
Ladies, come along, let's just roll 14. Ooh, shop, shop, shop. Ooh, shop, shop,
Clap your
shop.
hands, y'all!
Ooh, shop, shop, shop. Ooh, shop. Come on, Scarfest. Ooh, shop, shop, yeah. Ooh, shop, shop, shop. Ooh, shop, shop, shop. Ooh, can I play this guitar? Shop, shop, shop. Ooh, shop, shop, shop.
Everybody!
Ooh, shop, shop, shop. 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 How many people going down? 'Cause what you want and what you need are defined only by greed. And if you're gonna succeed, there gonna be some casualties along the way. And I just don't put in my city. Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to keep the hands down. I am your host, Cooley Ranks, with the SuperNova Saturdays, the quarantine sessions, and we are live from New York City all the way to DC.
Yes.
Our special guest this evening is Lady Hatchet, aka Kristen. Which one do you prefer? But she is here with us in the studios right now. What's up, Kristen? Lady
Hey,
Hatchet.
Cooley. How
Pick
you
one.
doing? Huh?
Pick a name. Who are you going to be tonight?
Just call me Hatchet. That's what all the other
Hatchet.
reggae call me. Yeah. You know.
How did you get that name though?
Well, it was from everybody's favorite infamous friend, Mr. Pablo Fiasco. When I moved down to the DC area and started playing around here, he was like, "You have to have a name." And I'm like, "I have a name. What are you talking about?" He's like, "No, you have to have a name." And I guess at the time I didn't realize the great punk rock tradition of reinvention by giving yourself a new name. But he decided, he's like, "Your name should be Lady Hatchet, because in Jamaican music, as the guitar player, like, you play like this, like the chop." And you know, like, I could always like play pocket. I could always do that. So at first I was kind of like, man, you're gonna get me confused with like Hatchet Face from like the John Waters movies, especially living in Baltimore. And she's kind of fugly. And I don't want people to think that I'm fugly by free association. But then I realized, like, you know, there's a lot of strength in a tough name. And if I was going to run my crew, then I would needed, you know, to run it like a boss. So it's good to have, you know, it's good to have a tough name. Although when I have little like 6-year-old piano students and I'm like, "Oh, Venmo me your money. My Venmo name is Lady Hatchet." And they look, and mom's looking at you like, what
we're
does
going to
that
pay on
mean?
time. We're going to pay on time.
You better, you rich suburbanite, or I'm coming for you.
Pay on time. Oh, you know, I heard your name like years ago, like, you know, coming up here, and I never met you until about last year.
Yeah, true? You know, I'll always kind of slink below the surface, and it's fine with me, you know.
No, but I thought you was this black skinhead girl.
Yes, I am.
No, I like seriously. There was this in DC. There was this black skinhead girl that had the radio. She would be at the 9:30 club outside in the back.
No
and
shit.
She used to play.
Oh, yeah, can I say that?
Yeah, I think you can. And she used to play this oompa music.
Rating?
Well, I throw some F-bombs here and there. I try not to. I know the kids are watching.
I'll try very hard. I'll try to put on my best.
We're gonna try and keep it PC. Okay. So she would play this oompa music, and she was a skinhead, and she was like a Nazi, black girl, Nazi. So I thought that was you. I thought that's who you was all this time, so I wasn't really looking for it. I'm not lying, I swear.
People have been misinterpreting or have been just like letting me slip through the cracks
wrong
for
conclusions
years for one reason or another. And I'm okay with that, you know?
I'm telling you, I was not looking forward to meeting. I was like, oh, I know that girl. She's a Nazi. This is in my head. I'm not saying it out loud, but yeah, I didn't want to meet you. But you're so not that. So nice to meet you. Welcome. Welcome.
Well, it's good then. It's like a pleasant surprise. Like, oh, I thought she was a Nazi. I thought she was that girl in those Nazi porns from the 90s. But no, that's not me.
Hey, I'm just saying. So what is it exactly, can we say? Because I know you're the boss of your band. You're in the Scotch Bonnets is your band, yes?
Yes.
And how did you come up with the name? I know the name, but how did you come up with the name?
Okay, so it went like this. I'd already moved to DC and then up to Baltimore. And we were jamming reggae a lot. Like Pablo had his sweatshops going every week, and we were jamming a lot. And a lot of the early Bonnets songs were starting to come together. And I hadn't quite put the band together yet, but the idea, like, the moment of inception had already happened. There was already like this force, like pulling of, like driving a band together. Songs were coming together, different people were playing, and you know, you could kind of feel something was about to happen. And I was up in my room, and I was high, and I was thinking about jerk sauce. Isn't that what we do? We think about food. And I was thinking about jerk sauce, and I'm a pescatarian, so I don't eat chicken or goat or any of those things. And I'm like, man, I got to find more places that have like jerk tofu or jerk fish or something. Or maybe I should just learn to make it myself, you know? So I get on the computer and I'm like, jerk sauce recipe. And the first thing that came up was Scotch bonnet pepper. And I'm like, what the hell's a Scotch? So I wiki that shit. And they're like, the Scotch bonnet pepper, cousin of the habanero, found in Caribbean cuisine. Mm-hmm. And then it talked about how the Scottish explorers, when they were down in the Caribbean, they have that weird hat, that tam o'shanter. It's kind of like a beret with a pom-pom on top.
Yeah.
And somewhere like in the Lost in Translation was this idea of like, oh, your hat looks like this pepper, like a Scotch bonnet. And I am Scottish, Kristen Forbes. So I thought, and I was like, I liked the internal rhyme, Scotch bonnets. So I was like, I wonder if that might make a good band name. And I looked it up and nobody had the name. And as if to like solidify it, I called up a girlfriend of mine who's a poet and was like, friend, what do you think about this as a band name? Scotch Bonnets. And she's like, oh, Scotch Bonnets. Is that what one wears after a night of heavy drinking? I was like, no, but I like that misinterpretation. So I had the name. And then I started coming up with some songs, and then I had a couple like groups of people for different, and then it all just magic came together.
Wicked. Yeah, we played together. We played together at Toe's place.
Yeah, for Spring Hill Jack's 21st anniversary.
Yeah, man, that was wicked. The first time I actually got to see you.
That was super fun.
Oh yeah, crazy energy in there.
Right.
So look what we're gonna do. Today we're gonna just talk to you a little bit and play some videos. I'm not gonna chat you off too much right now, but we'll get back into that. Can we play some videos so people can see what you do?
Oh, right. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. Shut it.
Yeah, yeah, we gotta be lovers. We gotta be lovers, darling. Yeah, we gotta be lovers. Hey, 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 we gotta be lovers. I gotta feel something more than empty. Excuse me. Ho! Where'd you get your head in? You're looking so fine. Where'd you get your head in? Almost as good as mine. So fine, so fine. I see you walking down 18th Street with just the kind of coffee that I'd like to meet. It's not the way you're walking or you're talking, it's just something so much more superficial. Where'd you get your head in? You're looking so fine. Where'd you get your head in? Almost as good as mine. So fine, so fine. So let's go sit outside a brunch cafe. Accoutrement from yesterday night on display. It's probably best to be seen and not be heard, 'cause your words aren't the thing that gets my bell ringing. Where'd you get your head in? You're looking so fine. Where'd you get your head in? Almost as good as mine. So fine, so fine. Hook, line, and sinker. Here we go again, baby. What you think? Yeah, you got me hook, line, and sinker. Here we go again with a ring pong finger. Yeah, you got me hook, line, and sinker. Here we go again, dragging me down deeper. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm what you call a keeper. Yeah, you got the bait. Yeah, you got the hook. Yeah, you got the face. Yeah, you got the look. Yeah, you made me shake. Yeah, you made me shook. Yeah, you need a bass like you need a juke. Yeah, you got me hook, line, and sinker. Here we go again, baby. What you think? Yeah. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm what you call a keeper. Come. How many times have I told myself not to rely on no one else? Who knows? You need a girl with a proof on him makes me get right out of my chair and go to be the next in line. It happens every time. Oh no, where'd you get your head in? Where? Ho! Drum and bass. What did you know? 'Cause I never told you so. It's really so sad. Don't call it quits. Just say what time it and go. I really don't care. Where'd you get your head in? You're looking so fine. Where'd you get your head in? Almost as good as mine. So fine, so fine. Where'd you get your head in? Where'd you get your head in? Where?
So,
All
ladies and
right.
gentlemen, I understand there's a lot of questions. The first thing we say is, buy my record first. Please.
Yes.
Yes, buy my record first. Lady Hatchet, Scotch
I was-
bonnets.
I was born in Buy My
what?
Record first. And I attended Buy My Record University.
So, what's new for Scotch bonnets?
Bonnets are Well, it's funny. We had some shows. We have some shows.
Right.
Theoretically.
You have some shows, of course.
Theoretically, we'll be up in Boston with the Slackers for their booze cruise in July.
Okay.
And I think we're doing some shows with Mephistopheles around the date. So that's something.
Nice.
We've got, theoretically, we're going to Europe in November.
Cheers.
We're going to play the Big 19 Festival, the Specialized Festival, on November. It's the weekend of November. Oh, God, please don't let me mess this up. It's the weekend of the 6th through the 8th, I believe, that weekend, November 6th through the 8th. And so the week before, we'll be in the UK doing some dates there, and then we'll go to the festival.
Oh, nice.
And then the following week, we'll go over to the UK and do some dates in like Germany and France and some places like that.
You mean Europe?
Yes.
Yes.
EU. That's what I meant, not UK. I got some wires twisted. Thank you.
You're welcome. Listen, I'm here to help you, sis.
I'm not too big to like not admit when I'm wrong.
It's that moonshine. Cheers. Cheers to the moonshine. You got it? Cheers. So you got some new music coming out?
I do. Actually, I have my first Lady Hatchet single that's just mine. It's out now on Stubborn Records. Big up
wow,
man,
okay. Big up
he did an excellent job. It was, so Stubborn last year, they put out an album called Fortitude, and it was all these different vocalists voicing this Fortitude rhythm. And I did one, but it's not that it didn't make the cut. I think it's just Jeff had enough submissions by the time he got around to like mixing mine and was like, don't worry, we'll get it out on this other thing. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then it all kind of fell into place right around now. He's like, okay, I just mixed your tune, and it's like, it was like amazing. He sent me the first mix and was like, see what you think. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like you got in my head. Like, it's like you got in my head. And he's like, well, I just used your mixing notes. And I'm like, that's amazing. I sent those to you over a year ago. I thought they were gone. So
that's cool.
I'm really so happy with the way the tune came out. And we're going to drop a video probably this week. It's in the final editing phases right now. Okay. And then it's so theoretically, if it comes out this week, then next week on my little web show, Slice of Hatchet, I will perform it live like it was on TV with a TV track.
Wicked.
I'm going to dance and everything. It's going to be amazing.
Shout out to Jeff Baker, a.k.a. Django. We should be having him on the show, I think, next week or so.
Yeah. Big up the
Big up, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you a second. Let me ask you something, because I just want to get it from the female perspective.
Okay.
Is there enough females in ska? Because I had a question last week from a person, and I want to know what's your take?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I think we can always use more women everywhere, personally.
Me too.
There are more women than there have been. I mean, when I was cutting my teeth 20 years ago, when I was 10 years old.
Yeah, true. You haven't aged a day, my dear. Not a day.
And I think that now women have asserted more of their authority. It's not just like, oh, you're the token girl in like a 9-piece band, and like you're kind of like, I don't want to say there for show, but like oftentimes like you're not really allowed to like reach your potential either as a player or a songwriter or as a band leader. So I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged to see a lot more women, like I said, than when I was starting. Are there still problems? Yeah, I mean, like, but I feel like there's been a great a reckoning or like an awakening of consciousness in the last couple years or so. I think people are a little more aware of, or a little more aware of the of how the inequalities, and like are more open to female perspectives or female, and it's still not easy. I still hear a lot of stories.
Do you think it's the ska? Do you think it's the ska, or let's concentrate on the ska for a second? Because within the ska, it's like a boys' club, right?
To a degree, yes. I mean, think about it. These are big bands too. It's not just like rock, like a rock trio. Like there are no trio ska bands. This like you started about 5 or 6 people, and it goes all the way up to like 9 or 10, and it's usually all dudes, and that's hard to penetrate. It's hard in the sense too, like I'm sure that you like understand the theory of difference. Like if you're the one thing in a group, that's what everyone is looking at. Like, oh, the girl, you know, like, oh, the black dude, you know, it's like, you're the one thing. And that takes it's a lot of pressure, because you don't get to just be on the same level with everybody. You got to be that much better for people to be like, oh, she belongs, he belongs, not just, oh, they can just kind of scoot by. If you're scooting by, you're not as good. And, but it's taken me a long time to get to the idea, to kind of accept the idea that it's like, that's okay, because that raises my game and my standards. So when I'm just, you know, at a level, I'm already kicking your ass, motherfucker, because my standards are that much higher, you know?
How long did you do the band for? How long did you do Scotch Bonnet for?
The Bonnets are 10 years old.
10 years.
The Bonnets
10
are
years.
10 as of just December of last year was our first show in 2009.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, like, go ahead.
No, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say, I mean, 2009 wasn't the best year for ska. And but that's okay, because you know, like I'm like Marge in The Simpsons. Stick to the plan, Marge, slow and steady. And you know, like the slow, you know, if you operate at kind of a medium pace, you can kind of like manage your shit better. You learn better. You like, it's not going so fast that you can't keep a handle on your shit and grow. Like, I feel like now 10 years in, like, I'm really good at my game. Like, I'm really good at all the things that I need to do, the booking and the promo and the merchandise and logistics and, you know, songwriting, everything. Like, it all kind of evolves with you. And if you're like that rocket success, like, you don't know how to do any of that. And like, it can be really hard, A, when the rocket crashes, because it always comes down eventually, or B, just being able to like adapt, you know, like this crazy quarantine thing. Like, you know, in some ways I'm really grateful. I don't feel like I missed a beat. Like my lessons eventually like rolled right online. And like, as far as like webcasting, you know, like I got to give credit to Dave Hilliard from the Slackers, who was like, Kristen, you got to get online. You got to be playing online. You got to get live stream, get yours. So I was like, okay, Dave, okay, I'll do it. But that was good. I needed that little kick to the pants, because it was good to like, it's good to keep yourself out there. And now out there now means being on the web. So.
Well, I saw one of your episodes in your Hawaiian outfit, which was very entertaining. I might add.
You caught the big episode of the season.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be able to top that. I hope people will still watch, but it's never going to be better than that.
Knowing that you was going to come on the show, right? I was like, oh, she's going to have the outfit on. I thought that was your thing, you know. I was like, oh, she's going to have the outfit.
No, I'm like, no, not today. Today I'm just, you know, it is kind of great that I'm not actually playing, so I can wear like crazy earrings and they're not like flying all over when I'm like leaping to like
that shirt there. What's that shirt? What's that shirt about right there?
All right, so I'm wearing this shirt that our dear friend, Mr. Eric Morgan, designed for the bonnets of our dear friend, Mr. Doc Knight, who is the saxophone player of the bonnets. And I'm wearing that in tribute tonight to both of them, actually, two really great DC musicians gone too soon. So.
Absolutely. We're shouting out Eric
Ladies and
Morgan,
gentlemen, right about
yes.
now, I want you to raise your bottles, cups, glasses, and cans, and let's have a good old-fashioned Scotch Bonnet Social to Mr. Eric Morgan.
Here, here.
An inimitable maniac who we love and miss dearly.
Here, here.
Mm-hmm.
Here, here.
But
there's a lot of us dropping out during this seasons right here.
Oh my God.
We are blessed to have you here, still kicking. And
I'm still kicking, man.
You know what I'm saying? Kicking and throwing that science down for everybody out here. Let's go and play two more of your songs and maybe come back and do something live for us.
Sure. Hey, fans, what do you want to hear? Like during the songs, you tell me what to play, because I didn't really think that far in advance.
I'm sure they're gonna have something there. Please type slowly because it's hard to read. And also, where are you guys watching the show from? Please let us know. We'll be right back with Lady Hatchet.
All right. World debut. New Bonnets tune. Right here. No fear. Just drink that beer. Because it's Saturday. It's SuperNova Saturday. You say you bash my face in. It's not right. What could I do that would so offend you? It's not right. It's not me. Think what you're saying underneath your breath now. Not right. Let go of hate, elevate your mind state. It's alright. 'Cause what you're saying, man, you don't try to understand. You don't give a damn about your fellow man. Where'd you get your information from? Was it that same old internet site? You gotta read between the lines to really know what's right. Someone's opinion all polished to the point where it shines like Olympic gold. Doesn't mean that it's a fact. Don't get caught in that trap. I saw you shout, you would kick my teeth out. It's not right. Could you still say it if we were face to face now? It's not right. It's not you. Think for yourself, don't use no one else's words. Not right. Learn your mistakes, elevate your mind state. It's alright. 'Cause what you're saying, man, you don't try to understand. You don't give a damn about your fellow man. Maybe you should step outside of your house in the suburbs sometime. See, not everybody else living quite as well. You say you got problems, man. Everybody walks the same up and down. See, it's not about the self more than anybody else.
and drive real fast, 'cause I ain't looking for things that last. Nah. Just the way that I do. 'Cause in a romance, people get hurt in my mind. This time it ain't gonna be me. I'm gonna run right through this town like I'm a kid on too much candy, just breaking his toys. 'Cause I wanna be your boy. Yes, I do. Buy you a drink and flash a smile, fake my interest for a while. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got that pretty little thing. Say the words that you wanna hear. It don't mean I'm being sincere. Yeah, 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 yeah. Got that pretty little thing. 'Cause in a romance, people get hurt in my mind. This time it ain't gonna be me. I'm gonna run right through this town like I'm on a mission with a master plan to search and destroy. 'Cause I wanna be your boy. Yes, I do. Alright, Supernova, let's do it. Oh! Rock it, son. I don't know just what I want, but what you want, you ain't gonna get. Nah, nah, nah. Just the way that I do. Here today, then gone tomorrow. Don't need to own what I can't borrow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just the way that I do. 'Cause in a romance, people get hurt my mind. This time it ain't gonna be me. I'm gonna savor every flavor like I'm feasting on the sampler platter, just for me to enjoy. 'Cause I wanna be your boy. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, baby. Oh, baby, 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 please. I just wanna be like you. Yes, I do.
We are back live on the set.
All right.
The Saturday night quarantine. Supernova. Yeah. Wagwan.
Wagwan.
So listen, someone is asking some questions. Her name is Christine Nasika. She wants to
Okay.
know the song that you just sang there. She wants to know what it is. Could you talk about it more? I wanna be
Oh,
your-
okay, sure. That's a good story. Well, it's called I Want to Be Your Boy.
Oh,
And
sorry.
I know there's a lot of speculation, and I will say it definitively, yes, that song is, it pays homage to the Slackers song, I Want to Be Your Girl, directly, because
Oh.
it's like this. So in 2015, when Agent J broke his collarbone and was out of commission for some shows, the Slackers tapped me to fill in, and right at the end of the year. They were getting ready to release their self-titled album, their most recent release. And so they asked me to learn some of those songs to play in some of these shows at the end of the year, kind of as a lead up to the release of the album in 2016. And one of the songs they asked me to learn was I Want to Be Your Girl. And I remember starting to learn that song and listening to the lyrics and being a little like, you know, just kind of it stopping me in my tracks. Some of it was just a little like, I don't want to say outright misogynistic, because I'm not going to say that, because that wasn't the intention. And it wasn't about a statement about women as a whole. It was like a really nasty portrait of one woman. And that's all right. You know, like as an artist, we can do that. We can paint these portraits of people, and sometimes they're not pretty. But again, getting back to something that we were talking about on the break, the theory of difference. When you're in a group, especially when you're in a band and you're on stage and you are the one thing that's one of these things is not like the other, one of these things does not fit in. And when you're the one girl in a group of all men, subconsciously the eye is drawn to that one thing. And so picture this. I'm playing with the Slackers. Everyone unconsciously is like, oh, who's the girl? And they're looking at me. And then we're playing this song that is like a very unflattering portrait of a woman. Subconsciously somewhere, like in people's minds, it's reasonable to assume like, oh, they're not thinking good thoughts about me right now. And I broached this, and I think the guys were like, oh my gosh, like I totally understand, and no, you shouldn't have to play that song anymore. And yet it kept coming up on the set list, and I kept being like, guys, come on, man. But anyways, fast forward a couple months, and I'm in DC, and some dude has done me wrong. Such is my life. And I go to a bar, and they're playing the Slackers, and I'm getting hammered. I'm just like, of course they're playing the Slackers right now. It's so sad. And I start texting like Dave Hilliard, like, why are they doing this to me now? Why? This is the night. Wah! And the next day I wake up and think, oh my God, what have I done? I may have just severed like one of my like best like professional relationships. What have I done? Oh God. So I'm like, Dave, I'm sorry to be such an asshole. It's just because I love you, ? And thank God for the just like understanding of Dave Hilliard. He's like, not a problem. I'm glad you consider me a confidant. Talk to me. Who is this guy? Who wronged you? And so we're texting, and at one point I say, you know, Dave, I think I need to write a song called I Want to Be Your Boy. And he's like, would you please do that? And I said, okay. And I think I even texted Vic, and he's like, oh yeah, you should do that. So that's how that song spurned from that.
Sweet. Well, I am sorry for your pain.
You know.
No, I am sorry on the behalf of the asshole.
It's okay.
I got
a great song out of it.
Well, as a male, we have done asshole things, so I apologize for all of them and for myself for doing asshole things.
Oh, Cooley, that's so nice on you. On behalf of...
serious.
Well, thank you.
Somebody has to say it. And to all of y'all out there, you know, men can be assholes at times, so I apologize for my assholeness and all of their assholeness.
I don't know what to say, but thank you.
No, you're welcome. Seriously. There's also some requests here about some songs. Whimsical Friend.
Okay, that actually is like a very appropriate song.
Yeah? Can you play that one?
I wrote that song when my bandmate Doc, actually it's topical. My dear friend and bandmate Doc, he passed away when I was on tour with the Slackers.
Oh God.
And it was that weird feeling of like, so here you are, and I was in Europe, and I was like, for the first time, and here I am, like doing the thing that I've always wanted to do, and I feel like Cinderella, like I felt like Cinderella. Like, and suddenly the 6 Prince Charmings were like, come with us to Europe, Kristen. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then bam, reality hits you real hard. But you're still got to stay up and be like, no, like the show's got to go on, even though it feels so weird and foreign and, you know, so you write like a sort of swingy ska song to kind of mask that, you know. Smile, though your heart is breaking. Smile. Story of my life.
Have you heard my songs? Cheers.
All right, somehow I can sing this now. I swear to God. Wait. Good and bad, you're walking by the sea. I could do it perfect harmony. So in every happy act, there's a bad one not far. Funny how I think about that day. Never knew how fast my heart could break. How it shattered with one shot, like a sucker punch to the gut. Left me gasping for my breath. Come on over anytime. Always will give your time for my whimsical friend. Clean my clothes, still I wait for you, like a keep coming again. Hopping around the Camden Marketplace, sipping on Jim to keep the pain at bay. The can't be said today. It's shouting and calling, carrying on like an enlisted man, wanting someone to call who understands. But the phone don't ring no more, and it's quiet in the car. Silence hangs like morning rain. Come on over anytime. You always will give your time for my whimsical friend. Clean my clothes, still I wait for you, like a keep coming. Clean my clothes, still I wait for you, like a keep coming. Driving home on a Sunday afternoon, watching the planes get in fast and free. They puppet trails of white, the stars shine down so bright. Always be a part of me. Come on over anytime. You always will give your time for my whimsical friend. Clean my clothes, still I wait for you, like a keep coming. Come on over anytime. Come on over anytime for my whimsical friend. Clean my clothes.
Trying to make too much noise. That's great.
It's not too
That's great.
shabby. Not too
Very
shabby.
good. Very good. Very good. Very good.
Oh man. Ah,
Lady, how you doing? How you doing after all of that? That was a powerful song.
I feel like all night I've been trying to like put a smiley face on like a lump of sadness, and like I'm just gonna be honest and say, like I'm a little sad today, and that's okay.
It is okay. I actually thought the show wasn't going to go on today, to be honest with you. I want to shout out the whole of the DC area. The whole of the DC area, and anybody that knows Eric, for that matter. We keep losing these guys, and
Right.
And there's, I don't know if anybody's saying it, but our day is not promised, right? Our life is not promised.
No.
And in these times, especially in these times, you got to say something to anybody. I just put it out every day that I love you. I don't care who, enemy, who, whatever. I just put it out there every day. I love you. I put it on my posts, whatever. I do it in my car sessions. I say I love you, and
that's important.
Just say it. Just say it, so because there's times that you're not going to be able to say it to that person.
It's important that people know that they're loved. I think far too often, especially single people, like you don't hear that enough, and you go by closing off more and more because you don't hear that enough. But really, like, real talk, I spent big chunks of my adult life very sad and very depressed and thinking that I wasn't loved. And I taught myself to be like, no, there's so much love in this world. You just have to keep your eyes open for it. And when I approached life with that attitude, the universe always provided, whether it was like a good interaction at the supermarket with the checkout person, or it was, some, beautiful, light through the trees, or if it was, some student that I was teaching that made me laugh. It's like, you find these little moments of joy and love. And like, if you can hold on to those moments, it really, like, you can get all the love you need. Maybe it's not coming from one source that's going to hold you at night, but you can fill your heart up enough. And that's something, you can't always change your situation, but you can change your perspective.
Indeed. Thank you.
I've had to do it for years, and it's hard, but eventually you start to do it, and you start to be like, it's okay. Life is okay. It's okay. And you can be content. You don't always have to be happy. That is a fucking, that is a motor scratching.
That's passion. Shh.
It is a motor scratching myth sold by the greeting cards company that we have to be happy all the time. Happy is an unsustainable state. You can have moments of happiness. It is unreasonable to think you are always going to be happy. So if you can find ways to be content, that is much more obtainable. And if you're, and then you can have pocketed with moments of happiness and sadness, like you stay on that level, and it's much easier to kind of maintain.
For real. You want to hit us with another song? Or you want to be out?
Do you want me to play another song?
I would actually. Could you? Please, hey, play nice.
I'm not being nice here.
Halo.
Hey.
Play us another song, please, if you wouldn't mind. Play us
you want to hear Beyonce? I can give you Beyonce.
No, I want to hear you. Beyonce gets enough publicity.
Okay, I'm gonna do this song. Everybody always wants me to play the song. I don't know why. I'm always like, this song is so boring. But it's kind of one of those things that, like, I feel like there's a, correct me if I'm wrong, Cooley, but isn't it always the case that, like, the songs that you personally are like, oh God, I don't like that song, those are always the ones that everybody latches onto, and they're like, play that song, please, I love that song. And then you're like, damn it,
I'll be totally honest. I love every song I ever wrote.
Really?
I love every song I ever wrote. When I first started singing in my house, with no music. I love every song I ever wrote. I don't know.
Okay, well,
I
let
don't
me
have that
follow
problem.
up with this then. Let me follow up with this then. Do you ever have different experiences or people or emotions that you tie to certain songs? When those people or situations sour, does that ever sour the song for you?
No.
Really?
Most of the song, no, because most of the songs that I write for myself, they're therapeutic in whatever way. And whether it's love or incitement or fear, it's for a reason. So I always go with that emotion when I'm singing it. So it always works. I don't know.
Okay. Because I've definitely had a few songs get soured on me because of people, places, or things that are tied to they're just intrinsically tied to those songs. And I've had to it's usually because fans have been like, but we love that song. And then I'm like, okay, I have to find a way to detach from whatever negative emotions that I have tied to this song and find a new way to kind of feel about that song so that I'm not always wallowing in that pain or hurt feelings associated with that song. So
I get that. My songs are really revenge songs for myself when I sing. Like if I'm singing something that I'm hurt, make it nice.
That's smart, Anger is
up in the air. So I'm getting it out every time.
That's good. That's good.
I
don't know. I've definitely
it never stays with me.
That's good. I've definitely had a few. I had a song ruined. I'm not going to say which one, but I wrote it for a dude. And I sent it to him. I sent him a demo in an email, and he never wrote me back. And I was like, oh, I hate that song now. But then, of course, that was one of the songs off our first album that people were like, oh my God, I love that song. I love that song. And I had to find a way back with that one.
Attach it to yourself. Put it to yourself. Like the song is about you. You know what I mean? Like there's a love for you, love for yourself.
I'm getting better at that. Okay. I'm getting better at writing songs for myself.
Okay. Big up Sheila. Sheila's in the building.
When you're kind of a stoner dreamer, hopeless romantic, you write those songs about, the first songs you write, I think, go inward, and then eventually you find a way to go outward. But so some of those songs that are more very self-reflexive and whatnot, those are hard to spin for me because they touch on some past emotional people and places. So
gotcha.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
But that's all right. So on that note, I'm gonna try. I haven't played this song in so long, but I think it's okay. I feel like it's embedded in a place in my brain that I'll just be able to just suck it out. But let's see. I'll just suck it.
Run the chalk. Run the chalk. One, two, one.
Yeah. Carousel, you always ride. It's been around like a 45. Rapping, overlapping, everything. The phone may be blowing up because of the sets. It's hard to run from the things you try to forget. Instead, you call up this girl who lives on the west side. And it's sure nice talking to her. Yeah, she's always got the good word. Give you good feelings and says goodbye to the phone. The conversation takes time. You got meetings in the morning and meetings at night. Trying to hear about your private life. Can't say enough to keep your heart and soul satisfied. And girls, they always want more. Pushing for an the town. I give you warm vibrations, hot palpitations, sweet sensation, good vibration. All your expectations in your life will be blown. Your dial-up me number on your telephone. You see she's fine, she's sweet, but she's scared of the thing. To the kind of girl who only makes a door in the streets. She cries all alone in the dark of the night. So she always turns the love lights bright. And sure as talking to her Friday night, and I ain't got nobody. Sure as talking to her. You know how to mix the nice with the naughty. Sure as talking to her. Always got the good word. The carousel goes up and down and wags around until of how you're feeling day to day. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Not too shabby.
No, not at all. Not at all. Where can the audience find your music and you? Where can they find you?
Oh, okay. Well,
Wow.
you can get our music at Bandcamp at our Bandcamp page. I think it's bandcamp.thescotchbonnets.com.
Right, and you got your solo stuff coming out too.
Yes, the solo stuff is on the Stubborn Records page. So if you go to stubbornrecords.com, I'm sure if you poke around, you'll find it. Or tell you what, if you go to the Bonnets Facebook page or website, I should have links up there soon. I'm slacking a little, as I'm sure everyone is during this quarantine. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Whatever. We're all going through trauma together. I swear to God.
Can we breathe? Can we just breathe for a second and like let it go for a second?
Man, oh man, I tell you.
I want to shout out to everybody out there. Everybody out there that's in these times, be well and be safe. Take this
and
time out
don't be
to
too hard on
appreciate
yourselves, because we can only do so much, and we're all doing as much as we can. So don't be like, oh man, I'm really being lazy. I'm not getting any of my things done. It's like, no, you're just doing the best that you can.
That's how I feel. I feel like I'm not doing enough.
Nah, I said, I'll go comment again. Like, consider this. I haven't felt this sluggish, like moving through jello kind of sluggish since my dad died. And that's when I realized, I was like, you know what? Like, it's traumatic. Our way of life has come to an abrupt end. People's livelihoods have been upset. People who are working are putting themselves at risk. Like, there's so much uncertainty and, like, loss and fear. Like, it's trauma. We're all going through trauma together. So of course we're not operating optimally. Of course you're not getting all 10, 15 things on your to-do list done. Maybe you're only getting like 8 done. That's not a small thing. Like, you got to be okay with that. You got to everyone's got to recognize that, like, this shit is hard and we're all just doing the best we can. And don't beat yourself up at all, because you're just doing the best you can. And if the best you can some days is to be like, I got to lie on the couch. I just got to lie on the couch, not get shit done today. It's fine. It's totally fine. Get up the next day and try and get 2 things done. Just 2.
Right. I got my little car sessions that I do during the week.
Oh, they're so fun, Cooley.
I force myself to get up and out of the bed, out of the house to go do it. And I appreciate everybody that watches. Lady Hatchet, I want to say thank you very much for coming here this Saturday night.
I'm truly grateful to have been asked to be here. I'm truly grateful to have gotten to spend time with you and all y'all in Facebook land. Like, this is how we do it these days. We come together online, and I'm grateful for that.
For sure. I'm grateful for the SuperNova crew. Johnny back there at the Space Tower right
there. Johnny's flying the ship.
And that, Steven.
Johnny made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs over there.
Tim and April, thank you all so much. Ladies and
April,
gentlemen.
I love you forever. Forever.
Mhm.
I would give you my firstborn child, but I'm not having children, so you don't
Oh,
get that.
okay. No baby hatchets?
Sadly, I'm not 30 years old. Like the baby hatchets would be a little more. They'd be. It just wouldn't be. It just would be bad. I smoke a lot of weed. Bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lady Hatchet, thank you all very much for having us this Saturday. Tune in again next week. We will have Greg Lee from
Yeah.
Hepcap. Yep, he's coming in next week. And then a week after that, we will have King Jungle. So stay tuned. Stay safe out there. Be well. And I'll see you all in the week with my car sessions, and happy hunting. Peace.
And I'll see y'all next week with a slice of hatchet.
Okay, there you go. Slice of hatchet next week.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Saturday night, and I'm staring at the television set. Gotta be lovers if we can be friends. Gotta be lovers. Another story will find while I'm sweating the improbable text. Gotta be lovers if we can be friends. We gotta be lovers. Why you so busy? You can find an hour to for me. I ain't talking about a lifetime. I'm just talking about one night. One night. Another message reply, but the excuses have been beaten to death. We gotta be lovers if we can be friends. We gotta be lovers. Another reason to fight, but I'm holding back with every single breath. We gotta be lovers if we can be friends. We gotta be lovers. Why you so dizzy? Spinning round in circles in your head. Anxiety will weigh you down instead of hiding in the fog of your dreams. Put on your coat, come on, go with me. Oh! Why am I so crazy? Waiting on a ship that won't come in. When you're an ugly girl, they don't think twice about breaking your heart. Leaving you out all alone in the dark. Another Saturday night, and I'm holding that I like the way it is. We gotta be lovers. We gotta be lovers. Alright, this is where you help me out. We gotta be lovers. And you sing, yeah, yeah. We gotta be lovers. 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 We gotta be lovers, darling. Yeah. We gotta be lovers. Hey, hey, hey. We gotta be lovers. I gotta feel something more than empty. Excuse me. Ho! Where'd you get your head in? You're looking so
looking at a bass like I need a juke. Yeah, you got me hook, line, and sinker. Here we go again, baby, what you thinking? Hook, line, and sinker. I'm what you call a keeper calm. How many times have I told myself not to rely on no one else? Who knows? You can throw with a proof on him, makes me get right out of my chair and go to be the next in line. It happens every time. Oh no, where'd you get your head in? Ho! Drum and bass. What did you know? 'Cause I never told you so. It's really so sad. Don't call it quits. Just say what time it and go. I really don't care. Where'd you get your head in? You're looking so fine. Where'd you get your head in? Almost as good as mine. So fine, so fine. Where'd you get your head in? Where'd you get your head in? Where? World debut! New Bonnets tune. Right here. No fear, just drink that beer. 'Cause it's Saturday. It's SuperNova Saturday. I saw you say you would bash my face in. Not right. What could I do that would so offend you? It's not right. It's not me. Think of what you're saying underneath your breath now. It's not right. Let go of hate, elevate your mindset. It's alright. 'Cause what you're saying, man, you don't try to understand. You don't give a damn about your fellow man. Where'd you get your information from? Was it that same old internet site? You gotta read between the lines to really know what's right. Someone's opinion all polished to the point where it shines like Olympic gold. Doesn't mean that it's a fact. Don't get caught in that trap. I saw you shout, you would kick my teeth out. It's not right. Could you still say if we were face to face now? It's not right. It's not you. Think for yourself, don't use no one else's words. It's not right. Learn your mistakes, elevate your mind state. It's alright. 'Cause what you're saying, man, you don't try to understand. You don't give a damn about your fellow man. Maybe you should step outside of your house.
you got problems, man, everybody walks the same up and down. See, it's not about the self more than anybody else. My face in. Not right, not right, not right. Let go of hate and let your mind stay. It's alright, 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 shave my head and grow a beard, make you laugh and disappear. Ha ha ha. Just the way that I do. Rub one out and drive real fast, 'cause I ain't looking for things that last. Nah, nah, nah. Just the way that I do. Yes, I do. Buy you a drink and flash a smile, fake my interest for a while. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got that pretty little thing. Say the words that you wanna hear. It don't mean I'm being sincere. Yeah, 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 yeah. That pretty little thing. 'Cause in a romance, people get hurt in my mind. This time it ain't gonna be me. I'm gonna run right through this town like I'm on a mission with a master plan to search and destroy. 'Cause I wanna be your boy. Yes, I do. SuperNova, let's do it! Oh! Rock it, son! I don't know just what I want, but what you want, you ain't gonna get. Nah, nah, nah. Just the way that I do. Here today, then gone tomorrow. Don't need to own what I can't borrow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just the way that I do. 'Cause in a romance, people get hurt my mind. This time it ain't gonna be me. I'm gonna Yes, I do. Yes, I do, baby. Oh, baby, 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 please. I just wanna